So I am here with David Monk. He is one of the coaches associated with the Digicel Kickstart program.
Yep.
So he's here to give us a bit more insight to the program. First of
Mm.
all, you are from Chelsea FC.
Yep.
Exactly what is your title? Yeah, we have a bit of a mouthful of a
Yes,
title.
it is. I'm a senior international development officer at Chelsea Football Club. So to give you a bit of an insight into
Yes.
that, so Chelsea were very privileged in terms of we believe in global development of football. So one of the only clubs in the world that's got a devoted international development department. Started in 2011. We've built up from 4 full-time members of staff to now having 19. And we are solely devoted to developing football for our global partners, and one of them is Digicel in the Caribbean region. So we operate in over 31 different countries across the world.
Exactly when did the partnership with Digicel start or begin?
Yep, so the program, the actual Kickstart program, has been hugely successful for 9 years now in total, but we've been involved for 3 years. So when we came on board, we took over from the guys who ran it before, did a great job, and it's sort of, been running here in Trinidad, for example, run the academy here. And when we came on board, we wanted to just keep evolving it, keep it moving forwards. And we shared the ideas of Digicel in a pioneering program across the region, whereby we select the best players from across 10 different islands, and then we bring them into an academy. And the academy's run later in the year, which is the second phase of the program. First year we ran it in Barbados, second year was Barbados again, and the third year we ran it in Jamaica. This year is TBC, the location, but we're selecting the players now travelling to 10 different islands, which is a great feat for me personally to visit all these different islands. I've done it 3 years now, so yeah, we essentially pick the players, bring them all into an academy later in the year, and there we put them through a week's intense training, and then they get put into a team or 3 teams, and they compete against a national team, and it kind of highlights then how they fare on an international level.
Okay.
It's not what I do try to highlight is it's not essentially a recruitment drive for Chelsea Football Club.
Okay.
We're not directly trying to pick players to come to Chelsea. However, if we do see someone who is of fantastic ability, we'll always try to help them. But really, the exit route from this program is trying to push them into a University of West Indies, for example, a scholarship, or to push them onto a US scholarship or college program, and really just try and develop them and get them prepared for the next stage of their career, but more importantly for their lives.
Okay, sounds good. Based on previous years, have you seen past players moved on to playing internationally, representing anyone internationally?
Yeah, definitely. In 3 years which I've been working this program now, we've had 6 players been given offered full scholarships to the University of West Indies in Barbados, which is a really, really good football program they run there. We've had 2 players from the Cayman Islands actually come over to our foundation program at Chelsea in the UK. So that's a wonderful feat by itself for those guys to actually come across and now compete at what we would call our foundation stage. So we have foundation academy and then first team. So they're in our foundation stage. It's an educational program, so we're always looking for players to come over to that. But yeah, many players have gone on and played for the national team, and to see them, for me, is very rewarding.
So you want to give us a bit of a breakdown as to how exactly the program works, because we were at the media launch yesterday, and it seemed a bit detailed. So you just want to highlight to the public exactly how does it work? Okay,
so the clinic stage, which we're in at the moment, we're in the midst of it. 10 islands, we get pre-selected 30 players, and then when we arrive on the island, we coach those 30 players, all under 16s. These 30 players then go through 2 days of intense trials/sessions with myself and my colleague Max. We also do a testing phase where we test for the fastest player with a ball and without a ball. And then at the end of the 2 days in each island, we've got to select 3 definite players who are attending the academy. And then the testing process will select 1 player additionally to the 3, and they would be a wild card entry. Now, wild card entry isn't guaranteed to go to the academy. It's where the fun begins, where we do a social media drive through Digicel, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago can vote for their wild card, and if he receives more votes than, say, Grenada, for example, then he will go to the academy as well. So 3 of those wild cards out of 10 will join the 3 definites from across the islands to go to the academy. So we end up with 33 players in total. Then when they reach the academy, like I say, we put them through the intense training as a team, and then they play a match against the national team. So the process of actually selecting the players here is extremely difficult, because we've got to be fair to all positions. We don't just want to select all the goal scorers. You know, we've got to understand, as a goalkeeper myself, a goalkeeper is just as important as a striker. Defender's just as important as a midfielder. So we've got to be fair to all positions and pick them equally across the islands, which makes our task even more difficult. One thing about my job is it's great to travel and it's great to coach football for a living, but to actually impact and change people's lives it's wonderful, and it in turn essentially changed my life. And to see these young players, and I'll highlight one would be Kadeen Graham from Kingston, Jamaica, come from very humble beginnings in Kingston to go on now and become the most valuable player at the academy 2 years ago, where now he's been offered a full scholarship at University of West Indies in Barbados. We've allowed him to have the platform to showcase his talent to then progress in his life, and it's really a wonderful thing to be part of.
Even those young players who don't necessarily get through, I'm sure that they're learning a lot of skills both on and off the pitch, especially in terms of professionalism and how to deal with the game in itself. I'm sure they've learned a lot of lessons, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we always try to pride ourselves at Chelsea on not just developing and producing good footballers, we produce good people. We always try to improve their life skills. We look at nutritional advice, we look at how they can... We look at prehabilitation, which is essentially preventing injuries, and we do it from an early age to try and prolong their career. And we want to be a support mechanism for these youngsters, not just here in the Caribbean, but it's a very much a good relationship between myself and the players, that they can contact me at any time if they need help or they need support. We're there to help them with their development.
Okay. But what are some of the other islands that are involved in the program?
We've peaked last year, if you like, at 14 islands. This year we've scaled down, not because of anything other than we were just looking at the fact of concentrating the resources, if you like, and looking at it and saying, like, we would need quality over quantity. So we're visiting, and I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but we're visiting, I'm on the tour right now, so we've gone Barbados, Bermuda, Jamaica, Anguilla, Antigua, Trinidad, Grenada, Suriname, I'm missing a couple off here. they're gonna be angry at me for this as well. But we in the past we've touched St Vincent. We've been to Antigua, Anguilla.
It's quite a bit.
There's a few there, and I do apologise. Obviously, I'm a bit jet lagged as well because I'm travelling around all these islands. Cayman Islands we've been to as well. So a whole host of islands, but I love every single one. I do apologise if I've missed one off the list there. But you know, I really enjoy on a personal level to travel these islands, but more importantly on a professional level to actually go to the back gardens of these players, see their environment, and see where they're playing football. It kind of brings us to their level and understand the barriers that they face, understand the problems that they're facing as footballers, but then also understand the opportunities they've got, because some islands do have more opportunities than others. And I would say probably Trinidad, you do have a lot of opportunities in terms of football development here because you're a very developed Caribbean island. And if we compared that to, say, Grenada, where there's not much in the ways of football development at all, but we still believe that we can equally help and develop football across all the islands. And that's the most important thing. In the past now, we've run coach education workshops in every island. So we've actually upskilled 720 coaches across the region. We've coached 1,000 young male players across the region. 122 of those have made it through to the life-changing academy stage. And 300, you'll be happy to know, 300 female players have been impacted by this programme as well. And as a strong advocate of female football myself at Chelsea, we really believe in making sure it's a quality and making sure that everybody can benefit from our visits.
A lot of people realise that female football is a force to be reckoned with.
Huge.
In Trinidad.
Yeah.
Right.
I think last year we went across all the islands, ran a female football programme for all of them, and Trinidad I'd probably say was the best ability that we went to. So well done.
And lastly, if anyone is watching this now and let's say they have any kids or they're any teenagers who would want to be a part of it? Because I think that you guys have closed off for this
Yes, we have, yeah.
What is the general period for teenagers to apply, we should say?
Apply, yeah. So the pre-selection clinic is done by the federation here.
Okay.
Digicel essentially liaise with the federation, and they run pre-clinic trials, where I think over 200 players in Trinidad and Tobago trialled this year. So next year, the window for that would be definitely start inquiring now, and then they'd look, I think it's around March, they start doing the pre-clinic selection process. So it's just about contacting your local FA member, putting your name forwards. You have to be between the ages of 13 and 15. If you're younger than that, don't apply, but keep your ear to the ground, keep developing, and then the next year you'll be able to be in that age bracket.
All right, sounds good.